Hey guys, Rollout here with another Let's Build. Today we're going to be doing another Fire Spirits B-Daman. This time it's the Sonokong Chrome Raven Cyclone to go along with my Cobalt Saber Fire. Now I've heard that this B-Daman isn't very good, and, well, I don't know. I'm going to keep my expectations moderate. It's not looking good for me so far either, just based on the fact that it's another one-handed B-Daman. Not only is it a one-hand beat-em-on, but it's one of these, like, sidearm-wielded beat-em-on here, like left Drake and right Stallion. Not a super big fan of those, but it'll certainly look cool along with Cobalt Saber Fire, so let's focus on that. He's got a strike shot here. I think this is like a speed shot or something. I don't know, it just says strike shot on it, so maybe it's just a normie strike shot. We have the bearing core here, which is like a roller core, except it has like a little metal wheel on the bottom, so that should be cool. Yeah, like I said, you kind of hold it like this, which, from what I've seen, doesn't say a whole lot for stability. And he's got a little shield on his arm here that can come off and be a pin, much like Proto 1 from the 0-1 system. And that always seemed just a little bit useless to me. But let's crack this guy open and decide on how he is for ourselves. Once again, lacking some bags, but we actually have this assembly here in a bag, which is nice. I think these are the painted parts, so that makes sense. Let's get this open. Actually take a look at the sprue before we move on. This is the, I think it's called the Chrome arm, which seems a little inconsistent to me because, you know, Cobalt Saber Fire has like the fire wing. Shouldn't this be called the Cyclone arm? I don't know. Anyway. Then we have the gray body pieces, which I think is the same sprue as on Cobalt Saber Fire. Some hold parts here. Is the metal bearing in the extra little bag? Probably. Along with the spring, no doubt. Arms and legs. Some rubber pieces here, some various spikes and things. And the head parts, arm parts. Interesting, yeah. I thought this was the case, but you can see these parts here on this sprue seem to be like remolded versions of Chrome Zephyrs foot parts, but I wonder if they can attach to the feet. It surprises me that they're on a separate sprue if they're essentially the same part. If it's on a separate sprue, why didn't they mold a new piece? That seems strange to me. You'll see what I mean a little bit later. Inside here, we have these stickers, the strike shot, and a little bearing, all that fun stuff. Is this taped? Is this sealed? This little bag wasn't sealed on Cobalt Saber Fire. I don't like change. Okay. Wow. Okay. Did we lose anything? That was explosive. All right. Got a spring. That's accounted for. We got a normal B-Dama. That is also accounted for. What else do we have over here? Right. Okay, this is in a bag. That's good. That's very interesting. Huh. Can't wait to get a look at that when I'm putting things together. Here is the strike shot. Very, very light. I wonder if these Sonokong strike shots are any different than the Takara versions, because there is like a seam here, and I feel like this should have a metal bearing in it to give it some weight, and it's possible that it's not supposed to. It's possible this is supposed to be super light, because if it's like a speed shot, then that makes sense. But this, and also the drive shot on Saber Fire, they're very, very light and a little bit underwhelming, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that way. Here are the stickers. And finally, the instructions. These seem a little bit bigger than the Cobalt Saber Fire ones, but I could just be a little bit crazy. This is all a little bit familiar, but we do have some interesting things going on with the roller core, all these tiny, tiny pieces here. You do get an extra one of these eensy-peensy little caps. So that's nice if you lose one of those. Those are fairly essential as far as I understand. But before we start building, I do want to compare the arms and legs of 01 and 02 because my suspicions in the last build were correct, and they are just slightly different. This is 01, this is 02. Pretty much the same thing, but you have just a little bit more detail on the toe there. And then for the arms as well, pretty much the same thing, but just slightly more detailed. So that is interesting. Let's start building the core here. I think I need these pieces first. Here we have the metal bearing. I don't know if that like spins in the middle or something, but it is made of metal, so that's pretty cool. And this goes on there. And these, that's a very, very thin little peg. So be careful with that. I don't imagine you'll be able to pull this apart after you put it together without breaking something. There we go. You do have some very ugly flash marks there, which aren't easy to get rid of, but it's at the bottom. Should be obscured enough. Then we have this piece here. These plug in. I noticed on Cobalt Saber Fire when I was messing around with him that this setup is a little bit annoying to me because just the way that these oh, is this right? Yeah, this is right. Okay. These little pegs here confused me. I thought they were these and everything was backwards and I did something horribly wrong. But anyway, just the way tension works and how these open up, over time, these little pegs will start to dislodge themselves, and it's kind of tricky to get in there and make them solid again once the whole thing is put together. So you kind of have to pull the core apart and squeeze those back and then put everything back together. It's pretty annoying, but oh well. Then we have these little rollers on the sides here. Don't know if those go any special way, but that should be fine. And then we have these super tiny losable pieces that go on top and lock those in. Ooh. Very free spinning, which I imagine is pretty good. And then we have the metal bearing on the bottom. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now we can plug it into the core. I think this goes in first before anything else. Although, actually, I think I might want to put this in first because I had trouble with that last time. So let's go with that. And then this. Ooh. Ooh, no. Well, that came apart. Well, wasn't that nice? It's already started. Okay, how am I going to do this then? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Then the bottom section here goes on like that. And this piece goes on like this. There you go. I really like the little flash of metal there. Wasn't sure how I'd feel about that, like in comparison to the gray, but to me it looks pretty good. Now you have our spring. Again, it's cone-shaped. I do believe, however, it's supposed to go this way with the cone facing backwards. And there we have the bearing core, I believe it is. Okay, now on to the head part. Everything from this point on is exactly the same as before. That goes together like that. Now, something a little bit interesting about Chrome Raven's Cyclone is that the arm parts actually don't require these little connector circlets here. They're there to attach the head, but the way the shoulders attach, it actually does this job for it, which seems like a no-brainer to me. I feel like all of the 0-2 system B-Daman should have done that. These seem a little superfluous if you have arms that go over the top of these. That should have just been standard to me, but nope, not the case. This guy's a little bit special in that regard. Arms, legs, and there we have the core body. Now, Raven Cyclone is a little bit less complicated than Saberfire, so I think I can do all of the armor parts here in one go. Once again, we have a separate visor piece. Let's actually try and put this together separated from the body entirely here. Yeah, that goes on just like that. It's got more of a visor this time than like the eyes of Chrome Zephyr. And then this front piece goes on like that. Does anything plug in here? I don't think so. But we do have these. I think these go on here. He has some that go on his shoulders. I think those are these ones here. Don't want to get those confused though. And there is the helmet. Let's try and attach that. Again, always found that a little bit tricky. That actually went on a whole lot better than on Saberfire. All right, now we have the foot parts here. I did want to do a comparison with Chrome Zephyr's foot parts. They are slightly different, but as you can see, shockingly similar for no apparent reason. Like the mold is a little bit more soft-edged, and these details on the side here are a little bit different, but like you can still take this and attach it to Chrome Zephyr's foot. It's a little bit longer, but I wonder why they did that. Why didn't they just make a gauntlet piece that was entirely unique? I don't really know. It seems pointless, but oh well. Let's attach these to his arms this time, not his feet. Just like that. And then this is the foot armor here. Similar in concept at the toe, but it's got this extra little armor piece on top. I think that looks pretty cool, actually. Of course, it's like knight armor. All right, and then we have the shoulders. Now, he does have, you know, different shoulder armor. Are these asymmetrical? I don't really know how this works. I think these might be the normal Chrome Raven shoulder parts. And I'm not sure we have the proper pieces on top here. So unlike Saberfire, you can't give this guy the completed proper shoulder armor. Oh well. Oh no, now it's stuck forever. Okay, let me yank that off, set those off to the side. I guess we don't need them. Instead, we have these pieces. How does this work? Okay, so I think I need to pull the arms off, a little bit of backtracking, and then these come off here. Okay, are these different? No, they are symmetrical there. So, does this go this way or this way? Yeah, I think it goes on like this. But that, ooh, and now his head is falling off. I don't like this. It's, okay, maybe I need to attach the arms first, like that. And then you have these little claws going here, like that. Okay, now let's try attaching it. And the head fell off again. I think it just goes on like that, but I need to get that on there. Like so. But I still need the rings. Did the instructions lie to me? I'm pretty sure the instructions said that I pull the rings off and then put the shoulders on. This is... Does this go on further? Hold on, I need to mess around with this. Yeah, so I guess you just force them on there, and then they kinda sit at this like weird angle here. Like it's not quite in line with this. I mean, it keeps everything rock solid, which I guess is the idea, because if you have something hanging off the shoulder, you don't want that wiggling around, but it doesn't really feel right. And yeah, they don't fit with these little rings on, so you are supposed to take those off. And then to make things a little bit more confusing, you have these extra pieces here which like slot into the shoulders for when you go into DHB mode, I guess? I don't know. We'll take a look at those once we build some DHB armor in the future, but until then, like, they're rock solid. I can't deny the results, but it's a little scary trying to force those on there. I don't know how I feel about that, but he does look pretty cool, actually. And then you have this little target piece that slides onto the shoulder here. That's real tight. Hope that comes off. You have this, which I think... Where does this go? Oh, does that... Do I have to put that on? Oh, no. Okay. I thought I might have had to put that on before I attached the head, but false alarm. And then this attaches on here, and there you have Chrome Raven Cyclone. Now, I think he looks awesome. Like, even without stickers, that looks pretty cool. But I think to properly test this guy out and get some first impressions, just holding him here isn't going to work properly. I think I need to stand up and test him out on my table, and then come back with some first impressions. I think this part is actually called the one-handed shoulder, or something like that, which is just a super inspiring name, but the comparison to Right Drake is actually pretty apt. I know I called him Left Drake earlier in the video, but let's just ignore that. They're very awkward to fire, but surprisingly in slightly different ways. I think Right Drake is a little bit more comfortable to hold, surprisingly, just because of this fin up here. It kind of grips your finger. You also have the trigger pad. It's just more pleasant in the hand. Maybe this angle has something to do with it, but he's super top heavy and he's still really finicky to fire. This one has a much larger grip at a different angle, which actually fits in the hand a little bit better, but there's nothing for this finger to hold on to, and there isn't a whole lot in terms of downforce. More importantly, though, there's a very noticeable disconnect between your thumb and the rest of your hand, and you really have to put in a lot of work to get the marble out. It's this kind of tension right here that you can feel, and it's just uncomfortable. There might be someone out there who prefers a grip like this, but I am definitely not one of them. But I don't know if that's entirely a detriment to this B-Daman. It's just the inherent nature of a grip like this that I don't like. But after having tested this guy just a little bit, there is something about this B-Daman that I absolutely love. And I'm going to try and capture it on camera, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. It doesn't really have anything to do with the performance. It's just kind of something that's very satisfying when you fire it. So, do you hear that? Not the marble. I'll try firing the speed shot. I think this is a speed shot. It's very light and quick to fire, but we'll try it here. Do you hear the bearing free spinning in there for like a good second after you fired the marble? There's something extremely satisfying about that, and I love it. It has nothing really to do with the performance of the B-Daman, the looks of the B-Daman, but just the way it fires in that little like auditory feedback it has is really fun. I think this guy looks great. I think it's an interesting idea, but right now, first impressions, it's a little whatever. But until the proper review, this has been Rollout, signing off.